What's up, y'all? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Banks brand pin nailer that you can pick up at Harbor Freight, and maybe you can determine if it's something that you would like to add to your shop. Alright, y'all, if you're not sure if you need a pin nailer or a brad nailer, I'll show you all the difference in the holes that it makes on the material at the end of the video, and you can determine which one you might need. Alright, y'all, we're going to go ahead and open this up. Gotta say, typically, Harbor Freight Tools is not packed this well, so maybe that's a good sign that the quality might be a little bit better than the older ones. Got the tool packed in a plastic bag. And I gotta say, right off the bat, we are missing a screw right there. Now that's on the opposite side of the piece that adjusts for your pins. So I guess we'll have to put that in and make sure all the screws in it's tight before we get started. Then you got your instructions or your manual. Now I like to keep these. A lot of people don't even look at them, and typically I don't. But I like to keep these just in case you ever have to order a part, like one of those screws or something. And typically they have an exploded view of the tool, and it's all labeled, and it's pretty easy to see what you need. Alright, we got another pack that's got a couple Allen wrenches. That might be handy to put the screw back in. And this is a driver blade unit. Now that's a strange thing to me. Not sure why they would be putting one of these replacement parts in there. I'm not sure. It kind of baffles me. Do they know it's going to wear out quick? Not sure. That's pretty strange right there. Alright, y'all, I'm going to show y'all something that's a little interesting before we actually load the gun up, and that is the dial indicator. Now the box says that it takes anywhere from a 1/2 inch to a 1 inch pins, and on the dial indicator it shows 3 other settings on it. They're not specifically labeled what size pin that you would have on it, but I thought that to be a little bit interesting. So we're going to go ahead and load a set of pins, and you also want to make note of the arrows. Face the arrows towards the material that you're going to be putting them in, and you set the dial indicator on the size pin you got. That's 1 inch. But the thing that's really interesting is you got 1 inch, then you got 2 more settings before you get to 3/4 inch. Then you got another setting that's not specifically labeled before you get to a 1/2 inch. So anyhow, that's the 1 inch. We'll try to show y'all. Then you got the other setting that's not specifically labeled. And I don't know if y'all can see that, but the back end of those pins actually come up, but the bottom stays where it is. And then you got the next one that is not specifically labeled, and that comes up some more. Then you have your 1/2 inch. So I think there is some 5/8 inch pins that you can buy. It don't specifically say that in the instructions anywhere that I can see it. But then you got your 3/4 inch. Now these are porta-cable pins that I picked up from Home Depot. Now I've also got some 1/2 inch pins, and this brand is the Metabo that you can pick up from Lowe's. I have never used pins from Harbor Freight in it, so I don't know how those hold up. So anyhow, we're going to go and set it to 3/4 and load it. And those seem to work out pretty good. Now between the 3/4, I don't think you can see it on camera, between the 3/4 and the 1/2 inch is the other setting that's not specifically labeled. But I'm going to change it with the pins in there, but not all the way up in the front. And you can see it comes up a little bit. So I don't know. Yeah, and then you got the Metabo, and the arrows on those are not that good, but you can still make them out. So we got it set to 1/2 inch. Those seem to go in pretty good. We're going to try this out. I'm going to show you how well the pins hold. They don't really hold that good if you're looking for strength. If you need something that holds a little bit better, you might want to use the brad nailer. But if you're going to use some glue and put up some trim or something like that, most of the time the pen will hold it long enough for the glue to dry. Alright y'all, so the first thing we're going to try this out on is some birch plywood. And it's already been stained on one side. It hadn't been stained on the other. So I'm going to put them together where y'all can see what it looks like if you was to have to put one of these pens in a piece of furniture that's already stained, maybe something that you're just repairing, and then on the side that hadn't had any stain at all. Alright y'all, there it is. You can see the head of the pen just a little bit, but you can't feel it at all. And then this is the side with a finish on it. You got a little bit of glare, but you can't even hardly see it on that side. So you could probably get away with repairing some furniture with those if you use some glue with it. Alright y'all, something I was going to show you. A lot of people says there's not a safety on it. And this little guy right here, I guess, is what they call a safety on it. If you slide it around like that, it keeps the trigger from being mashed. Now, this is the same design they use on the older guns. You slide it around and you can mash a trigger. Slide it back like that and you can't mash it. I don't know how many people leaves it in that safe position. I hardly ever do. But if they put it down on the end of the gun, you wouldn't be able to get in some tight corners as if you was putting some molding on a cabinet. Alright y'all, I was gonna take my brad nailer. This is just an 18 gauge brad nailer. I'm gonna shoot a nail in this piece of wood right by where the pen nailer is, and I'm gonna show y'all the difference in the size hole and nail that it actually puts in. Alright y'all, so we shot the brad in there, and I did this on both sides. And right there you can see the top one is the pen, the bottom one is the brad. And then, I don't know if y'all going to be able to tell it on this side. Actually, you can see the brad. There's the brad, and the pen is right above it. That one you can see it just a little bit on camera. The rest of them you can't. So anyhow, that's the difference in the looks on that one. If you're using a brad on some trim, you're probably going to have to fill it in with a wood filler. The pen, sometimes you're going to be able to get away with not doing anything to it. Alright y'all, so that is the difference between the pen nailer and brad nailer. It really just depends on the type project you're working on. But anyhow, so I was going to show y'all the difference before we get through with the video on just a brad nailer and then this 2-in-1 brad nailer and stapler. Now, if you're doing some work that's not going to really be seen, this one might not be a bad deal for you because you can use the staples or the brads. But if it's going to be some finish work, maybe this will help you out. So anyhow, I'm going to show you what that looks like on the same workpiece, and you can decide for yourself. Alright, so that was the staples. I'm going to shoot one right by with the brads in this 2-in-1. And y'all will be able to see the difference. Alright y'all, so the very top one is the brad that is being put in by the 2-in-1 stapler. And then the one right below it is the actual stapler that I used the 2-in-1 to put that one in. The thing about it is, it's going to leave the same indentation no matter if you're putting a brad or a staple in it. So if this is going to be something that's going to be seen on a piece of crown or trim, this might not be the right gun for you. But if it's not going to be seen, then you can use this gun and get away with putting staples and brads in it, and it might save you just a little bit of money. I hope some of this information on the brad nailers and staplers that I've got, that I purchased from Harbor Freight, helps you out some. And I guess as far as this Banks 23 gauge pen nailer, time will tell how it holds up. I don't really see but one piece of plastic, and this is this dial indicator section that adjusts the length of the pins. Other than that, it seems like it's made pretty solid. Anyhow, if y'all got any questions pertaining to these guns, leave them down in the comment section. Hope y'all got some helpful tips out of this, and I will see y'all on the next one.